provided by the Scottish Government, but also public authorities, National Health Service, local authorities, for example, will publish local plans about what they will do to ensure that services meet the needs of deaf and deafblind members of the community. As we say in our report, what's important here is that the plans that are published actually deliver improvements for deaf and deafblind members of the community. Although the main thrust of the bill is to increase the profile of BSL users, a bit like the Gaelic Language Bill did, it's important that that has an actual practical impact on services across the country. We have to see progress, and of course, again, one of the most important things is that there is a review element within the bill to ensure that once those plans are published, we see if they're having an impact and they are properly reviewed to ensure that actual progress is being made in delivering important and the needed services across the public sector. So a lot of work should come out from a successful implementation of the bill, but obviously we have to make sure that the plans are published are not just a box-ticking exercise, but actually make a practical difference to the deaf and deafblind community of Scotland.
Okay, so the local service providers, when they have to provide services to deaf and deafblind people, what if the quality isn't as it should be? How can deaf people get involved to make that highlighted?
I think this is one of the most important things. One of the recommendations that we've made to try and improve the bill, because the bill is only at stage 1 at the moment, there are several amending stages to go. We want to change the bill to ensure that, for example, the BSL plans that will be published by public bodies must be published in BSL. At the moment the bill doesn't say that. I think it was critical that all the plans are published in BSL. I think it's also absolutely critical that local BSL users, deaf and deafblind users across the country are able to contribute to the consultation process in delivering the plans. And so we want to make sure that, given the fact that it's critical that users get involved in the consultation process and get involved in giving their opinions to local authorities and National Health Service boards, then the BSL plans must be published in BSL. That's, I think, one of the most critical points. I think secondly, we certainly support very strongly the Scottish Government's proposal to establish an advisory board. The advisory board is very important, I think, in making sure the government is on the right track in terms of the national plan and the work below that of the local plans. And I think what's most important about that advisory board is that it's made up of many contributors from the deaf and the deafblind community themselves. It can't be an advisory board made up of officials and civil servants and representatives. It must have actual members of the deaf and deafblind community on that advisory group. If that's the case, then I think we'll get right to the heart